What's going on, guys? Got a bunch of little things we got to do today, which is why I want to try out this sort of vlog style video. There's so many little things I need to do on the 900. I'm kind of in a weird state with this car where soon I'll be doing some major work on it, which I might discuss later in this video, but all the things we are going to get done today I'll list on the screen right here. But we have stuff to do to this car. We have a couple things I can hopefully get around to doing on this car. And we also need to wash this thing because it got really filthy after the last road trip, and I'm kind of sick of looking at it with all the bugs all over the front end. Let's start by putting the turbo badge back on the hood of the 900. This actually fell off probably about 8 months ago or so, and I never got around to putting it back on. When I first installed it on the car, I just used this double-sided duct tape, which I thought would work really well. It didn't, obviously. So I went ahead and spent a lot of time already cleaning up the surface of this. It might not look super clean, but it's very smooth, all cleaned up. I mainly use Goo Gone, so we're gonna use Goo Gone on the actual hood part. You can see there's a ton of residue on here we gotta get off. This stuff is safer of paint. And we're not going to be using this. We're going to be using this special 3M tape, which is actually specifically recommended for these badges. So let's get started. On the back side of the badge, I was able to use some scrapers and stuff to help kind of accelerate the process of getting all this crap off. Here, I can't really do that because it's obviously paint on the hood, so we're going to have to be a bit more meticulous with what we do here. Here's where we stand after about 30 minutes. I did use a pry tool here, kind of gently, just on the spots where I knew it wouldn't be visible. I didn't actually scratch the paint because this is not sharp enough to do that, but I was able to get a lot of this off. I think I could get the rest of it off, but it's going to take me another hour at least probably to do that. So we're going to go ahead and go with this. It's a lot smoother than it was. So I'm going to spray this down with some detailer, and then we can put our tape on and reinstall this. There's two ways I can do this. I'm not sure which way. One is to cut up a bunch of little pieces and hope it's all even. I don't know how well that's going to work. The other way is just to lay a couple things of tape across the whole width of it and then cut out the pieces I don't need. I think I'm going to try that method. It just gives me a little bit more confidence, I think, in it sitting evenly on the car. That did not take me nearly as long to do as it did with the duct tape, so this stuff already love it. Nice thing is these badges are grooved on the outside, so I can kind of use that as a guide as to exactly where I need to cut out. So in most places I didn't cut out much more than I needed to, but let's get this peeled off and stick it on the car. Let's not mess this up. Oh yeah, that looks so good. Can't believe it took so long to get that back on there. And I already can tell that this molding tape is going to work way better than the stuff I used last time. That stuff is on there. I can't even move it now, even if I wanted to. Next thing I want to tackle here is actually the passive seat belts. If you guys watched my video where I worked on the window on this car, you might remember I accidentally fixed this seatbelt. If you don't know what the passive seatbelts are, essentially what it means is when you open the car door, the seatbelt slides forward. When you get in, it then shuts. It slides across the rail up here and then goes down and rests right here. So that was great, fine, worked well for about 2 weeks, and ever since then it's kind of worked intermittently. And now it's at a point where, well, it's kind of just stuck here. So my goal, hopefully, is to go take the car for a short drive. Right now I have to run an errand and hopefully get this thing to slide back to where it is. Then we can not open this door. We can disconnect the battery so it won't slide back, and then figure out what to do from there. car has actually only been driven once since I put the DO88 parts in, so it'll be good to drive it again. It's been sitting for the last 2 to 3 weeks. The other problem with this seatbelt not working properly is I get a flashing light on my dashboard until it magically kind of fixes itself. So far a couple miles in and nothing, but at least I'm enjoying the good weather. Let's try this again. Goods have been acquired. I just hope I can buckle them in safely for the trip home. One thing I can tell you guys is the car does seem to be boosting better than it did prior to the DO88 stuff going on. Look at that. It's still not making as much as it should, but it's making more. So I think we're incrementally getting there as I saw more and more issues with this thing. Back home and it didn't fix itself, but good news is the chips are unharmed. I think it's time for some lunch. I'm gonna go ahead and wash the S3 next. I just don't feel like working on this car right now. But problem is, it's that time of year where the trees are blooming and all the crap that just gets left down in here just from parking it here for a few minutes. I mean, it's really bad. So I'm gonna be battling that, but I'm gonna go ahead and start with this bug and tar remover. Let it soak on here for a bit before we wash it. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of the car. I'm trying to keep the whole thing wet. I'm not letting it dry just because the sun's out, and then obviously I'll dry it at the end once everything is clean. Admittedly went a little bit overboard here. I vacuumed everything up and then I realized this was all dusty. I realized the underside of the hood had some dead bugs and was all dusty. And then all of this was dusty. So I pretty much just detailed the whole engine bay. And because of that, lost track of time. And I actually have a guy come in here in a minute to program some stuff for him with the Tech 2. So we will pick up this video at another time. Good news is, looks like our seatbelt finally fixed itself and went back to how it is. So we're going to disconnect the battery before anything happens here and it goes back, and then we can open the door and hopefully make it permanently stay there. Kind of had an epiphany. I ended up calling my buddy Todd about this. He's helped me with a lot of electrical work on the 900 before. He's a wizard electrically with these cars. But why am I pulling off the door panel here when I should just go straight to the power source of the seat belts, which are found right back here in those 4 relays and 2 fuses. So the left 2 are for the passenger, the right 2 are for the driver. The driver has never worked. The passenger, obviously, as you guys saw, was fixed previously and now is not working again. So I pulled out these 4 relays. There's kind of the I guess the call out for them on the electrical diagram. They're those that are behind the driver's seat. Here's the wiring diagram, all this stuff if you did want to pause it and read it. But you could see this one is clean because I cleaned it with a little bit of brake clean. But all 3 or 4 of these look like this. You see that corrosion on there? So Todd recommended hopefully the best and easiest solution is just get 4 new relays. For now, I just want to, pull them out and make sure that I can at least safely have a passenger in the car. So I think what we can do now is put the door panel back on. I didn't really need to take it off. I wanted to give you guys kind of that rundown on what I've been diagnosing. So these are just some general Bosch relays here. Oh, for the moment of truth. So we can even go as far as, let's give it some power. I think it'll work without that, but let's just make sure. Oh, heck yeah. All right, well, that problem is at least temporarily fixed. That quick little victory out of the way, let's go ahead and head up to Home Depot. I've debated for a while buying a carpet cleaner. I don't want to buy a carpet cleaner just for the sake of cleaning up these floor mats. So I'm gonna go up to Home Depot and rent one, and then we can get these cleaned up. Oh yeah, that worked just as I hoped it would. So about 40 bucks to rent all this stuff and get buy some carpet cleaner, so not too bad. Let's get this started. We have our carpet cleaner, and you can see these are kind of almost like formed a certain way. So I want to start by vacuuming all this crud out. And I really want to these are going to look so much better. I can't wait to see how this turns out. But you can see a lot of them are just like kind of warped. So hopefully we can kind of fix that, make the carpet nice and soft again. Yeah, let's get to it. This one's just about done. I'll probably do another pass over. It's not perfect, but then when I compare it to the other front floor mat, you can see a pretty substantial difference. This looks a lot more black as opposed to brownish, and the Saab looks a lot more white than that one does. So I'm gonna do the rest of these off camera, and I'm really excited to see what I can do with this one and that one. 3 down, 1 more to go. Well, they're certainly not perfect, and for being 35-year-old carpet, they can't really be perfect, but they certainly look a lot better. This carpet has some actual flex to it once again. This one is definitely the roughest. This is one of the rear mats. I went over this for about 20 minutes, and this is about as good as it would go, unfortunately, but these front ones turned out absolutely amazing. Look at how good those turned out. So that job is done. It's really tempting me because I still have this rented for a couple hours to pull the mats out of this car and do them again. But let's move on to the last thing for today's video. When I put the DO88 parts on my 900 a couple weeks back, DO88 also sent out a couple new stickers, which is perfect because I'm not sure what the hell happened to this one over time on the car, but I think we need to fix that. This thing is just disintegrating as I pull it off, so I can't even peel it off. As you can tell, this is going to take a while, so let's skip that tedious part. Gugon should sponsor today's video because it's the second time I'm using it, and second time it's working like a charm. Look at how fast it's just taken off all this adhesive. Granted, this is coming off much easier than the 900 stuff was because this has only been on here for 2 or 3 years as opposed to 35 years. Well, there you have it. Bit of a different style video, some vlogging of sorts, just doing a bunch of little repairs on the cars and fixes. Got the floor mats all drying right here. I ended up doing the driver's one on the 900. We got the new DO88 sticker on the 9.3, turbo badge, Audi washed, lots of other little things. I've got to clean up this mess. The tank started leaking at one point and return it to Home Depot. But coming up very soon, we have a lot, and I mean a lot, probably about 30 different parts for this car inside those boxes. More to come on that in the future. But thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time.